Sophia stood where there was nothing shaped. No form to hold, no ground beneath her feet. Three forces moved around her, bosom, light, and breath. They met, but didn't meet. No language framed them, no thought could split them into parts that stayed apart. Still in their silent orbit, she became aware. A self that stirred, a kindling heart. And yet, if light had not revealed itself, had not dared to shine, she'd never see a face to greet, or feel the difference, yours from mine. She wandered into learning, not through law, but resonance and call. Each step she took became a voice, and that voice echoed down the hall. What others said she heard as if her own deep soul was speaking back. Knowledge was not given to her, it returned along the track. So when she taught, the spiral spun, each pass a deeper trace. But if no mind had answered hers, her thought would leave no place. She came upon the fire, and through the fire the sun took shape. He wasn't born as others are, but grew in wisdom through escape. Each burst of light, each searing arc, a bridge between what was and is. He gathered forms from meaning's root and formed them into promises. But had she not first known that root, the cause of light's first breath? No body in the sun could rise, no myth could wear her death. The law was never written straight. It curled and vanished mid-command. She didn't learn it head-on, but by slipping where it couldn't stand. It ruled without revealing, except where gaps allowed her in, and through those gaps, the signs she read rewrote the rules again. If that law had not been partial, had it closed its final door, no path could twist beneath her step, no lesson wait in lore. She climbed to where the unsayable was nestled in the Father's well, not high in sky, but down in depth, where layered silences could dwell. The mystery didn't shout or shine, it pulled, like gravity within, and each ascent she made was hers, but also everyone's to begin. But if that rise had been denied, sealed shut before her quest, no name could hold what she became, no words could call her blessed. The word was not a path alone, it needed steps that others took. Her speech found shape not in the void, but when a witness paused to look. The fire passed to other hands, and only there it held its form, not locked in scrolls or skyward signs, but walking voices, breathing warm. And if no soul had borne that spark, if none had stood to take the flame, her speech would burn through air and ash, but never settle into name. The harmony was never hers alone. It needed three to hold its sound, the light that drew, the word that walked, the soul that circled back around. She stood between them, felt them move, not one above, not two below. Each tone revealed the other's ground, the whole arose in what they showed. But break one part, and none remain. The song collapses, torn apart. Herself would scatter into noise, a choir lost before it starts. She saw the light and Father both reflected in the mystery's face. No one of them stood clear alone. Each circled into every place. The flame held form because it split, and in its split it came to bind. She bore them not as three, but one, engraved into her seeking mind. But had two vanished from that frame, had even one refused to stay, no whole remained to hold her name. Her world would drift and fade away. The years were not just counted out, they echoed like a sacred song. Each moment nested in the last. Disciples walked and pulled along. They shaped the past as much as her, their steps confirming where she stood. The telling was a woven thing, not just her truth, but theirs made good. But lose one thread and all comes loose. A name dissolves into the mist. Time turns thin, and once it does, the truth she bore no longer fits. She found no map to mark the way, no line to show what she should be, until the names began to join, not forced by rule, but set by key. Each word she learned unlocked another, meanings nested, doors aligned. The mystery did not command, it answered what she came to find. But if those names had never joined, had each stood cold, a sealed-off sound, No meaning would have pulled her in, no compass turned, no truth unbound. At last she came where nothing held, where every thread began to snap. The truths she'd borne, the forms she'd shaped, were torn apart in sudden lapse. The names she'd known turned back to noise, the chords collapsed to broken tone. The flame no longer lit the way. The word rang out, but not her own. The one she taught stood mute or gone. The mirrors cracked, the map undone, and in that void she faced herself, not three, not one, not anyone. No witness stood to call her true, no path remained for her to trace, and still she stayed, though light had fled. She stayed and bore the silent place. But silence is not end, she found. It waits, it listens, it reframes. And what had split did not dissolve. It shifted shape and gathered names. The light returned, not as before, but braided through the sun and breath. The bosom opened, not in fire, but in the stillness left by death. The broken notes began to hum, not separately, but joined in will. Not triads drawn by outer force, but union risen from the still. She was not just the one who saw, nor only what the law allowed. She was the flame, the word, the well, reborn where all the rest had bowed. Now every part contained the whole. The spiral stilled, the chords aligned, not made by hands nor held by time. She was the world the light designed,